I've had a lot of people asking me about bone broth, how to make it, or just expressing an interest in making some bone broth. So we're here to show you exactly how easy it is. It really is a very simple process. I will say it does take a little bit of time, only because there's so many steps that take time. So you might want to do this on a day that you're just home and around the house, but it is a very simple thing to make. We love it. It is a staple of our diet. We have a cup every day. It's full of fabulous nutrients. It's great for gut health, lots of great collagen, which who doesn't want collagen, and an anti-inflammatory, just to name a few of the benefits. So you can really doctor up your broth as much as you want. We do a very basic, simple bone broth. We just have our bones, the Arrow J beef, 100% grass-fed beef bones. You want to make sure your bones are 100% grass-fed and finished bones. Carrots, mushrooms, celery, onions, salt, pepper, and apple cider vinegar. We also, every week when I make it, not only do we drink it every day, I always freeze a jar. I usually do a jar or two and stick it in my freezer because it's great to have on hand for using for recipes. So like I said, I usually every week when I make a batch, I freeze one or two. It's so easy to freeze, doesn't change the consistency. And if you're one of our customers that buys bulk beef and has a lot of roasts or ribs or brisket on hand and do a lot of crock pot recipes, it's great to have this bone broth ready and available to you for when you're ready to cook one of those. So the reason it takes a little bit of time, step one, we're gonna roast these bones at 350 for 30 minutes. After you roast the bones, you want them to soak in cold water with 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar for 20 minutes. That starts pulling the nutrients from the bones. After that, the crock pot or Instant Pot takes over, and that's it. So it really is easy, but that's where the time comes in. So right now we're gonna preheat our oven and we're gonna roast our bones.
Action.
Okay, so we just got done roasting our bones in the oven at 350 for 30 minutes. I have my Instant Pot filled up with some cold water, which you guys can, or crock pot. You can use a crock pot as well. So we're gonna put our bones in, a little hot. And now we're gonna let them soak in apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons for 20 minutes. And again, that just helps the process of pulling all the nutrients out of the bones. And why that does that, we're gonna wash and rough chop our vegetables, which will take us about 30 seconds. Okay. So our bones just soaked in apple cider vinegar for 20 minutes. So we're ready to add our rough chopped veggies. You can see how thick, you really don't have to cut them up that small, which you'll appreciate also when you strain later. So we have salt and pepper, celery, carrots, onions, mushrooms. A lot of recipes call for herbs. Go ahead and throw the herbs in. Jeff's just not a big fan of the flavor that the herbs put in. That's why we steer away from it. And really, you can start putting these in, honey. You really can't go wrong. Throw whatever vegetables you want into this. There's no mistake with it. My opinion, the more veggies, the more nutrients you get in it. So we're gonna put it in the Instant Pot and then I do it for 3 hours. There's a soup broth button that I use for 3 hours. If you're doing it in the crock pot, it does take 24 hours. And you do lose quite a bit of moisture. I'm actually a crock pot person. I prefer the crock pot for cooking, but when it comes to my bone broth, I would probably own an Instant Pot solely for the purpose of making bone broth because it's so easy. So that's it, you guys. I'll show you when it's done how we strain it and store it. Thanks. Okay, so our bone broth has finished, and now the last step, all we need to do is strain it. I just use one of these. I know some people even use a cheesecloth, but I keep it really simple. I have a bigger pour bowl like this, but I'm using it right now. So I'm just gonna pour it into here for right now. And that is it, you guys. That's all you do. Now when it cools off, the fat's gonna solidify at the top. There's lots of great nutrients in the fat, so you can include that in when you reheat your broth. You can use it for cooking, or if you don't want it, you can just take it off the top and set it aside. As far as storage, again, you can store it in a pint-sized mason jar in your freezer, which is great to have on hand for any meal that you might be making. You can put it in ice cube trays. That works well too. And then just store the cubes in a plastic bag and use them as needed. So if you guys have any questions about making bone broth, please feel free to reach out, send me an email, call or text. Otherwise, I hope you saw how easy it is to do this, and I hope you guys give it a try. Thanks.